Well, the weather may have been cold here in New York, but the racing action was hot at the Big A as you were checking out the Empire State Building right here from the Big A. And we are in the Big A studios. And me, Maggie Wolfendale, alongside Richard Migliori on this Thursday evening here. Welcome to Aqueduct Insider. Well, we'll get right into things here and talking to a former jockey who has suffered, no offense, several injuries himself. Yep. Bad news concerning Junior Alvarado as he went down yesterday. He's going to be out for a little bit of time.
Yeah, it sounds like 2 to 4 weeks, a hairline fracture of his T6 vertebrae, and it happened after the finish line. It's such a vulnerable time for a rider because you kind of stand up and you actually relax because the race is over, and then when something goes wrong, you have very little time to react to it. It's a shame because Junior really has gotten back in stride. I thought he was riding really, really well coming off an injury last winter, and to have all that momentum stop. And then obviously, you know, his health is paramount. I mean, that's first and foremost. But a rider's career is based on how they're doing, their wins and losses, and he was just getting really rolling for the winter, and it's a shame that he's got to sit on the sidelines. But 2 to 4 weeks, not the end of the world. Get through Christmas time, and he should be back.
And it's a bit shorter amount of time than he was out last year at this time when he had an accident with Miss Narcissist in the gate, and he broke his ankle. That was a scary situation, so he was out a long time for that. But hopefully, speedy recovery, and we hope to see Junior back here at Aqueduct for winter racing. Well, a jockey that's on the bench, and on the bench maybe for good, but it's not because of an injury. It's Rosie Napravnik, as she announced to the world with the Breeders' Cup that she was going to become a mother along with husband Joe Sharp. So we're wishing Rosie the best of pregnancies giving birth, and maybe we will see her, maybe we won't.
Well, I thought it was interesting. She said this is a retirement, and then by the end of her dramatic retirement speech, well, I won't say that I won't come back at some point. So I wouldn't say she's definitely finished. I did think it was interesting, though. She was pregnant when she won multiple Grade 1s with Untappable. That's the youngest multiple Grade 1 winner in the world, her baby that she's carrying.
Yeah, he's already destined to be in the saddle. Joe Sharp, now a trainer himself, was a jockey for a brief period of time. Now, Richie, I know you can't really comment from a woman's standpoint, but how hard is it to come back considering she's going to be away from the races for a long time?
Well, I would have to think it's going to be tough. And, of course, your body's going to change, you know, being a woman, giving birth, the weight you're going to gain, and then having to kind of reshape your body if she does choose to come back. That being said, it was never lost to me how fortunate I was as a man to be able to have children and continue my career. I mean, yeah, you take a day off, you spend the day in the hospital with your wife, but all the credit in the world to women everywhere, but particularly to my wife, Carmela, who raised our 4 beautiful children while I was here working.
And she did a fantastic job at that. But we have some more recency news here to deal with, and that's racing here at Aqueduct. Our featured race, it was the 7th. It was an optional allowance for the fillies and mares on the turf. We'll throw it on up to John and Brielle for the call.
Outside Bohemian Dance. Premium is there. Little Journey Extreme outside. And towards the rail, it's Tis All Heart as the field now straightens away and comes past the stands for the first time. It's Bohemian Dance with the lead by a length and a half. Premium is in between horses. Tis All Heart down at the rail, and on the outside is Little Journey. Tis All Heart a bit ranked there. Principessa Ava is racing in 5th. Clocher to her inside. Selenite is the trailer in 7th. Moving for the clubhouse turn. Bohemian Dance on the lead here as Tis All Heart takes to the outside and goes up to challenge Bohemian Dance. It's Bohemian Dance by a half length with Tis All Heart in 2nd by 2. Clocher has moved up to 3rd. Premium is alongside in 4th. Then it's Little Journey racing in 5th, followed by Principessa Ava and Selenite. The quarter, 25 and 3, the half mile in 52 and 2/5 seconds. They continue up the backstretch. Bohemian Dance, she's been in front right from the start, continues to lead here over Tis All Heart. And right behind the duo of Clocher and Premium. Little Journey the Gray on the outside in 5th, followed by Principessa Ava and Selenite. Now they begin the run into the far turn. 3/4 went in 18 and 1. Bohemian Dance by a length. Premium moves up on the outside as Clocher advances down at the rail. Tis All Heart has dropped out of it. Then it's Principessa Ava and Little Journey into the stretch. It's Bohemian Dance. Here's Premium. And on the outside, Principessa Ava coming on. Clocher is back running in fourth. Principessa Ava, Premium, Bohemian Dance. Those three come down for the wire. Bohemian Dance with something left. Principessa Ava on the outside. Bohemian Dance won it. Bohemian Dance, a hard-earned victory over Principessa Ava. Premium was third.
And Richie, it was all Bohemian Dance with a truly heads-up ride by Joel Rosario, who is coming off of suspension with some tour de force.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he needed a little freshening. I think it's hard for guys to keep their form year-round,
Sure.
and I think he's come back with a renewed vigor for sure. And this was a very heads-up ride. The 3/4 and 18 and change, and this daughter of Islington, if you remember her, she was quite a nice horse, Breeders' Cup winner, gets it done, but with an 8 from a slow pace and a terrific ride.
Yeah, truly a well-bred filly, Bohemian Dances, and a nice run by the runner-up. That was Principessa Ava from Jonathan Shepard and Manny Franco, closing into what was a dawdling pace.
Yeah, it was a very slow pace, and it looked like Principessa Ava had her in mid-stretch, but it's hard to reel in a front-running leader that's gotten to go that easy and has a little bit of quality, but a nice run by Jonathan Shepard's filly. Manny Franco did produce her at the right time, but the pace was working against him.
Yeah, we had some good racing on the turf today. It won't be too long before there's no more turf, unfortunately. Hopefully the weather cooperates with us for the next couple weeks here at Aqueduct. But race number 2, it was a maiden special weight on the turf for the 2-year-olds.
Hoon, Suwannee Sun. Captain Keon now moves up, and Melville is in between horses. It's Captain Keon with a narrow lead over Melville and Suwannee Sun down at the rail. And then comes Artie Crasher, who's racing in fourth. Hoon is now back running in fifth. Then on the outside, it's T. Sizzle. Down at the rail is Point Hope as the field moves for the backstretch. The opening quarter mile, 24 and 2/5 seconds. Captain Keon leads by 2. Melville in second. Artie Crasher's on the outside, and Suwannee Sun down at the rail. Hoon is in between those two. Then it's a break of a length and a half to T. Sizzle, along with Point Hope. Then comes Ice Cutter, followed by Idiosyncratic. Hay Oats and Water is the trailer in 10th. Half mile up in 49 and 3. And it's still the long shot. Captain Keon leading here by a half length. Melville in second. Artie Crasher on the outside in third. Hoon down at the rail in fourth. And it's T. Sizzle farther back. It's Idiosyncratic as the field comes for the top of the stretch. Captain Keon and Melville. And Hoon is just behind. And on the outside, it's Artie Crasher. Melville narrowly. Hoon moving up on the outside. Down towards the inside, it's Captain Keon. Then Artie Crasher and Idiosyncratic. It's Melville with the lead. Hoon, Idiosyncratic is gaining on the outside and gaining on Melville as they come for the wire. Idiosyncratic got it. Idiosyncratic in the final strides defeats Melville. Hoon was third.
Well, despite having some lightly raced horses in this group, my apologies, it is for 3-year-olds and upward. And in his third career start for Chad Brown, Idiosyncratic gets the win. Another win for Joel Rosario on the turf today.
Yeah, well-timed ride here, but check out the number 1, Melville. He hit the front. Look at his ears flicking back and forth. He's completely lost in the lead there. Now, he was a bit green first time, lagged early. Joe Bravo got him interested. He made a big premature wide move, and then he flattened out. Well, this time he understood why he was there, and he put himself in the game, but when he hit the front, he got completely lost. But I think these are 2 nice horses, the winner and the runner-up.
Yeah, both of them only making their third career starts in here. And a familiar sight, seeing assistant to Chad Brown, Cherie DeVoe, into the Big A winner's circle. And, yeah, it was a very nice run from Idiosyncratic, I thought, from the back of the pack. And as you were saying, I was actually talking with Kieran McLaughlin after the races, and I said, blinkers? And he said, yeah, probably would be, or at least just a little bit more experience. Because like you said, he's kind of a big, not too bright up here, but talented horse.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Physically, he's the package. Mentally, he's not all there. And it's quite a bit like children. You get some kids that are very precocious physically, but mentally it takes them a little while to catch up. And I think that's where he's at. Maybe if he doesn't have blinkers next time, just a little bit of a later run, hit the front a little bit later. And I actually think if he had seeded Idiosyncratic get there to him a little bit earlier, he might have been able to re-rally and fight him off, because he didn't look to me like he was all in at all.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, we will have some 2-year-old racing a little bit later on, actually, on the flip side of this first break that we're going to take here on Aqueduct Insider. It's a 2-year-old fillies when we come back. It is getting dark very early, and it's very dark in the Aqueduct paddock as we see the glow of that light just illuminating the sign and showing our patronage from what was our Veterans Day back on Monday, celebrating it then here at Aqueduct with some racing that we don't usually see on a Monday. But welcome back. I'm Maggie Wolfendale alongside Richard Migliori for this Aqueduct Insider on this Thursday, and let's get right back into the action here, Mig, as we will check out the 2-year-old fillies. 4 of the 7 horses in here were daughters of Bernardini, but John Imbrial does have the call of this one.
And they're off. A hesitant start for number 1, Right Decision from that inside post. My Sweet Girl, along with Genre, and on the outside, it's Fair Point. Zoetic is up close, so the 4 of them heads apart for the early lead. Bonnet Plume is on the outside. Now Right Decision has moved up, and Miss Cobblestone trails the field in 7th. The quarter went in 23 and 4/5 seconds. Genre's on the outside, and My Sweet Girl on the inside. My Sweet Girl with a neck in front of Genre. Fair Point on the extreme outside races in 3rd. Zoetic's in between horses. Right Decision down at the rail. Then a gap of 2 to Miss Cobblestone and Bonnet Plume. Genre, My Sweet Girl, Fair Point. 3 of them right together going into the far turn. The half went in 47 and 3/5 seconds. It's Genre in between, Fair Point on the outside, and My Sweet Girl down at the rail. Right Decision is 4th, 3 lengths from those front 3. Zoetic has now dropped back. Then it's Miss Cobblestone and Bonnet Plume. They're coming for the quarter pole. Fair Point. Genre's under the whip in between horses. My Sweet Girl is down at the rail. Less than 3/16 to the wire. The 3 of them are still battling it out. Now an 8th to the finish. And it's Fair Point and Genre. And there's nothing between them. Then My Sweet Girl and Right Decision and Bonnet Plume. Genre on the inside. Fair Point on the outside. Terrific stretch duel that goes to Genre by a head. Fair Point was 2nd. Then Right Decision and Bonnet Plume.
And a hard-fought victory for your favorite Genre, T. Pletcher, with Johnny V teaming up there and just holding off the outside horse, Fair Point, for Shug McGahee and Jose Ortiz.
Yeah, Fair Point actually rallied up and got ahead in front, and Genre had been under a very long drive by Johnny Velasquez. It didn't look like she had a lot of horse, but she re-engaged when faced with that challenge and came back, and at least one of the 4 Bernardinis got it done.
Yeah, that is very true. And My Sweet Girl, another Bernardini, went head and head with her most of the way and really faded badly. So a really good effort, I thought, by Genre there to break her maiden in her 2nd start of her career. Well, we have many other races on this card. That would be a 6-pack here at the Big A. So let's head on up to Johnny I for the rest of the replays from today's card.
For the top of the stretch, Big Loot by 2. Moped on the outside in 2nd. The half, 45 and 2/5 seconds. It's Big Loot, the leader, length and a half. Moped in a drive on the outside and getting closer now to Big Loot. Big Loot and Moped, and they're right together as they come down for the 16th pole. Here's Moped on the outside to take the lead from Big Loot. Moped in front, and it will be Moped by a half length over Big Loot as they head for home. In Kelly's Defense, down at the rail with the lead. The lead's 3 lengths, now 4. Midnight and Positano, followed by Speedboat Sally and Perling. In Kelly's Defense, still there with a 16th out. Midnight and Positano making a run in Kelly's Defense. In Kelly's Defense, Midnight and Positano, they come for the wire. In Kelly's Defense, held on. Midnight and Positano was 2nd. Field heads for home. The half in 46 and 3/5 seconds. It's Kiss Cat Challenged here by Casual Elegance. Island Candy is dropped out of it. Ocean Boulevard is on the move now, and on the outside, My One Love. Here's Ocean Boulevard to sweep to the lead. Ocean Boulevard in front, then Casual Elegance. Late move here from Wisdom of Oz, but she's not going to catch Ocean Boulevard. Wisdom of Oz was second, then Casual Elegance, My One Love, and move at the top of the stretch. Starship Pleasant goes with her. 3/4 in 1:15 and 4. There in the stretch. Bargaining Table rallies down at the rail. Then it's Thundering Gale. And Is She It? Followed by One Penny Piece. Bargaining Table with a narrow lead on the outside. It's Thundering Gale in between horses. Is She It? Bargaining Table got it. Bargaining Table by a at the top of the stretch. SEAL Team 4 has now taken the lead. It's SEAL Team 4 in front. Bambi's Frosty Racer and Adam's Note giving chase. Farther back, it's Spider Roll and Woke Up Tired. SEAL Team 4 draws clear. SEAL Team 4 going to win here by a half dozen lengths or so. SEAL Team 4 much the best. Adam's Note was second. Then Bambi's Frosty Racer and Spider Roll. Lady for the lead. Wine Burglars just in behind. There in the stretch. And it is Simple Love. Wine Burglar coming on through. Lakeview Lady on the outside. Then Bartiromo and Veronica Bay. Simple Love leads by 2. Then Bartiromo far outside. It's Chow Fun. Simple Love trying to hold off Bartiromo. They come for the wire. And Simple Love gets the victory, giving Erod Ortiz Jr. 3 wins on the day.
And we just heard John Embrial say that Erod Ortiz picked up 3 winners on today's card, so he is making a race out of it, as we will check out the jockey standings in a few moments, he and Cornelio Velasquez. But let's go back, Richie, to race number 5, and you talk about horses for courses. Well, Bargaining Table, this win here looks like an exact replica of 2 weeks ago here on opening week on October 29th, where she won here for John Toscano. She just absolutely adores this course. She's 4 for 4 on it. John Toscano's off to a fire-blazing meet so far. He's picked up 4 wins. He's hitting at about 60% at least. And Ruben Silvera as well continues success here.
Yeah, nice to see John Toscano doing so well. You know, the whole family, it's a family affair. They're all involved. I've known them for years, and it's great when you see good people do good. Ruben Silvera delivering another superb ride, saving ground, cutting the corner, and he is really making some noise here. I really think Ruben Silvera is going to have a terrific winter here. And how about Angel Cruz on the outside? You know, in between horses on the outside, finishing second, an apprentice that Billy Castle brought here from Maryland with a lot of wins. He looked really good finishing.
He really did. He must be. I haven't met him personally, though he is from Maryland. Actually grew up in Maryland, not just, you know, started riding there, which is interesting. But looks small, compact, and really can get low on one. And looks very strong for an apprentice.
For an apprentice, and very proficient switching his stick, left-handed, right-handed. I like to see that. Now, obviously, he's won about 100 races, so he is pretty well seasoned. But I think he's another one we're going to look at having a good winter here.
Yeah, and bug riders really do tend to do well here during the winter at the Big A, and we'll see if any of them creep into the jockey standings as of now. But I do believe Cornelio Velasquez still sits atop of those, the seasoned veteran who, in my opinion, is riding lights out right now on the turf.
And I think he's very consistent, day in, day out, year in, year out. Cornelio shows up, does his job, and sometimes flies under the radar because he's such a pro. There's no drama or anything that follows him around. He just does his job. Erod Ortiz obviously tightened up the race today. But interesting that Billy Castle has Cornelio Velasquez and now this apprentice, Angel Cruz.
Yeah, exactly. Billy Castle getting back in the game here. And he does tend to ride a lot for Aqueduct's leading trainer. David Jacobson up by 10 wins, Richie, over the rest of the field. Chad Brown, I mean, John Toscano, Linda Rice, they all do well here. We'll see if they can catch up.
A 10-win lead even this early in the meet. He's moving like a tremendous machine.
That he is here. A couple of claims today. Mophead goes to Carl Grusmark, winner of today's first race, and a 5-way shakedown there. Simple Lover. It would be fitting that a trainer that goes to Gulfstream would take her, and Phil Serpy.
Yeah, and Phil Serpy trying to rebuild kind of ever since Flying Z dispersed. You know, he's been in rebuilding mode, so it's good to see him pick up this one. And David Jacobson wins a 4-way shake for Island Candy. It seems like David Jacobson not only wins a lot of races, he wins a lot of shakes.
Well, it's a law of percentages, I think, here in averages. He's in on a lot of horses, Richie, so I think that also helps him winning a lot of shakes, too. And when we come back, well, we'll preview tomorrow's races, and we'll talk about that guy who's sneaking up the rail, the big, beautiful, dark bay in last year's Remsen. We'll be back with Aqueduct Insider. Richie, it seems as though we are a long way away from Christmas, but in Manhattan they say it's not too early to begin celebrating.
Well, they want a good Christmas season for the retailers, I guess, so they want people to get in that Christmas spirit early. I've always loved that when they light up the Empire State Building in different colors to commemorate different things. I get a kick out of it.
It looks great out there as we sit here in the Aqueduct studio. A lovely view of Manhattan. As always, welcome back to Aqueduct Insider. Maggie Wolfendale, Richard Migliori, as we're into the final turn here on this edition of Insider. And as always, we like to preview the races on tomorrow's card. Race number 2, and it's an optional allowance going the mile on the turf. It's for fillies and mares 3 and up. We'll check out Party Now here in the Wonder again last time out. She does look like she might be the lone speed again.
Yeah, it does, and I think the mile is going to suit her here in the Wonder again. It was a mile and a furlong, and this was a prep for the Belmont Oaks. These are some pretty good fillies that wound up coming back and supporting how good they ran here, running back extremely well in the Oaks.
Well, another good filly in this field for Christophe Clement, and that's Orion Moon. We're checking out her in the Bogey here, and a bit of a tough trip down on the inside. What's it like for a filly to have to rally down there?
Well, you can kind of see when she got in there, she kind of stalled a bit until she got all the way in there, and then she took off running again, and maybe if she hadn't been just a touch timid and tight, she might have been able to turn the tables on the winner.
Well, we got a wild card in here. Richie, Tutti Paisi will break out of stall number 5 tomorrow for her new trainer. That is Bill Mott, but we go way back to a year and 7 months ago to the 2013 Ginger Brew, where she faced some nice fillies and a commanding effort.
Yeah, I mean, this was a terrific effort. Now, she is coming off a very long layoff. She obviously possesses a really nice turn of foot, and if anybody can have her ready to fire off the bench, I have confidence Bill Mott can.
Yeah, I think I do too. And she faced some nice fillies that day. Discreet Mark, I'm Already Sexy, and Corporate Culture, just to name a few in that big field at Gulfstream. But going back to the first horse that we talked about, that would be Party Now, who is coming off a bit of a layoff herself. And to see how she was doing, Richie caught up with her trainer, Shug McGahee, earlier today.
Shug, you had the filly Party Now in today, and you scratched her to run a mile tomorrow. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, I thought maybe Couture fit better in the race today than Party Now. You know, she's coming off kind of a long layoff and going a mile. You know, probably her best distance is going to be going a little bit farther, being my Tiz now, but I just felt like that she maybe fit in the other spot better.
Looks like she's been training really well at Fair Hill. How do you figure which horses you should send there and the ones that you keep up at Belmont?
Well, with her, she was coming off a little bit of a knee surgery, and they've got, you know, with the turnout paddocks and that kind of stuff, that I figured it was going to be a little quieter there for her. Bruce Jackson's got a nice therapy unit there to where I could put her in, do some work with her there in a cold water spa and that kind of stuff. So, you know, I try to figure out, you know, the ones that I think need to be there and the ones that need to be up here and go from there. In fact, it's interesting. I've got one at Belmont that leaves at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's in at Laurel, and Party Now's at Fair Hill. She leaves at 4 o'clock to come to Aqueduct. So,
well, that does afford you the ability to move them around. Yeah. But I also noticed Honor Code was training there. Now he's at Belmont. It looks like he's been training really well. Shug, what do you expect from him?
Well, whenever we get to run him, I think he'll run well. He's been training awfully well, and you know, he's good and sound right now. I was looking at him in the stall the other day just without the night blanket on him and stuff, and he looks a picture. So, you know, we're looking forward to getting him started whenever that'll be.
Good luck, Shug. Thanks.
Thanks.
And he really does, Richie. I've been watching Honor Code train every morning at Belmont. He's gotten bigger and stronger.
Well, that's an interesting prospect because as talented as he was as a 2-year-old, and then obviously only having the one start at 3, you'd have to think as he matures, as good-looking as he was, he's going to be an imposing kind of 4-year-old.
And he's really easy to pick out in the morning. obviously is gorgeous, but he gallops with his head down on the ground. He has that really true AP Indy style of galloping. But we have to check in with another turf race on the card. It is race number 8. It's an optional allowance 62 going the 1 3/8 on the turf. And we're checking out Joe's Blazing Aaron, who was on the lead, but is now being taken over by Arctic North. And then down on the rail was Red Vine here. And Joe's Blazing Aaron, it's always a question of how far he wants to go. And a 1 3/8, well, that's going to be a true test.
It is going to be a true test, and pace makes the race. It seems like when he gets things a little bit soft, he fights it out. I mean, these 3 horses put on quite a show there, and they rematch tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
Yeah, and Red Vine kept down on the inside. Not sure why in such a short field. Luis Saez is back on from 2 starts ago. Now we're checking out this race with Barrel of Love back in August. He'll go out for new connections. Rudy Rodriguez claimed him last time out for the 62.5. He was beaten by some good horses last time, including North Slope, who won the bowl game.
Yeah, and it's interesting now he shows up going to 1 3/8. He's really stretching him out this time. He ran well there. We saw against Not a Cat But a Llama. I got to see him go this far before I buy it being by Not for Love.
Well, one that doesn't have to worry about the distance is a horse that, as you mentioned, Fair Hill, Arnaud Delacour trains this colt, Set to Music, who is the wild card, who doesn't have many starts under his belt, though he is 2 for 3 in his short career. The thing I picked up most from watching this replay is how big he is.
Yeah, he's a big horse, and he's 2 for 2 on the turf. He's winning both photos on the grass. And here he is winning 1.5 miles in only his 3rd career start. So obviously he's a long-winded son of Dynaformer, and like a lot of Dynaformers, which you alluded to, got the size.
Yeah, he really does. I'm really excited to see what he looks like in the paddock. So Set to Music will be an interesting character in tomorrow's 8th race. But to find some other interesting characters, we have our resident handicapper. That's Andy Sterling. Let's see who he likes on tomorrow's card.
I'm going to do something on Friday that I rarely do. I'm going to pick a horse that won its last race. I rarely like horses that won, but I really feel like in the 8th race on Friday, the 6-horse Arctic North is in a very similar race he was in last time. He was much the best in that race, winning despite a less-than-perfect trip. He actually should get more pace to run into in this race, which will hurt the horse he beat last time, who's back again, Joe's Blazing Aaron. And I just think Arctic North is a horse that trainer Pat Reynolds has done an exceptional job with and has really gotten him back to his best races. And I see no reason he can't win again, and I think the price is going to be fair. It's all about Arctic North in the 8th race on Friday as we head back to Maggie and Richie.
And that's our main man, Andy Sterling. For our other main man, Pat Reynolds, hoping Arctic North is in that very winner's circle tomorrow, as we saw Ruben Silvera doing it with Bargaining Table. But that'll do it for us here in the Aqueduct Studios. Maggie Wolfendale for Richie Migliori. Good night, everyone.